Welcome to Ball Talk Deep, where we talk deep about ball. It's Andrade, and today we're going to talk about the Tokyo Olympics, everybody. The basketball tournament in the Tokyo Olympics, to be specific. And I'm sure everybody's been able to catch the games live with no problems, keeping up with all the recaps, because NBC has been doing such a great job at covering the Olympics. And for those who don't know, that is straight up sarcasm. I mean, I even tweeted about my frustrations. And unless you've been living under a rock, as long as you have some type of social media, you know you've probably ran across somebody complaining about how shitty, how piss poor of a job NBC has been doing at covering these Olympic Games. And my God, it's just been bad. They shouldn't do it for next Olympics. They don't deserve to. And it's such a shame because I was looking forward to these Olympics, but look, we're not gonna sit in front of a TV to tune in to the Olympics. Like, we want to watch it live. It should be free on a website. Ads are cool, and just let us be able to stream it from the comfort of wherever the fuck we want to. You know what I mean? And whether it's a laptop, a phone, a tablet, whatever. But all right, enough of that rant. Let's go. Let's get back to the nitty gritty, the true shit, the substance of this video. And ladies and gentlemen, we are lucky as basketball fans, especially for worldwide basketball, for the finals that we're going to get in the 2020 Tokyo Olympic basketball tournament. And if you don't know, I mean, you can tell already by the title, we're getting France versus USA. This is phenomenal. That is a great matchup. That is, I don't know, just that's, think of it like almost like Euro 2020s this year, Copa America this year, like two big countries in their respective sports going against each other. I mean, France has had several legends come from that country do phenomenal in the NBA, most notably Tony Parker, and right now in today's NBA, Rudy Gobert. And I mean, I don't even have to say anything about the USA team. You guys already know most. I mean, there's too many names to name. But yeah, and what makes this finals even more exciting, more hyped, is the fact that, hey, France kicked our ass. Like, that was the first loss that the U.S. had in the Olympic tournament, and the only one so far. France has actually gone undefeated this entire tournament, and yeah, that was the first game that U.S. played in the Olympics. The first loss and the only loss they've had so far. And I forgot what it was, but there was like some stat or some record about the first Olympic loss that the U.S. has had in basketball since, I think '04 or something. So there's a little there's a nice little narrative going on with this matchup, and that's why I had to talk about it. Because one, not too many people are gonna cover it, so I know the views on this video is not gonna do so well. I know the same thing happened with my last video on the D'Antoni rant, and not necessarily so much focus on D'Antoni. I just use him as an example for something bigger. But yeah, I just have to go with what I'm feeling, what topics like inspire, soliloquies out of me, and also want to cover stuff that might not be exposed as much as others, because I know everyone's already talking about free agency, other teams, etc., and whatever. I mean, if you guys want one popular topic, I did do the Bulls one 2 videos ago, like last video, the one before last video. And that one did well, so thank you to all the new subs and everybody that tuned into that. But yeah, let's just jump into, I guess, the stats or whatever, because I'm gonna be honest, I have not been able to keep up with the game so much for the Tokyo Olympics. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are interested in basketball that haven't been able to, even if you wanted to, because I wanted to watch these Olympics more so than I have. Like, it's just been really annoying and tedious to like actually check in, and you have to watch it at night live. Like, no. And then the recaps have been trash, but for most part I've just been catching live tweets, recaps and shit like that when it comes to, and I'll like read articles and highlights for the USA Olympic basketball team and others, like Luka tearing it, which France almost didn't come out into this finals. Like, they won by only 1 point, and the strategy that they utilized against Luka was, instead of forcing him to go right, because he usually goes left, they actually forced him to keep going left, because when he goes right, he would always kick it out to shooters, and that was a strategy that was working really well for his squad. But so they did the opposite, and they teased them to go on his preferred side, and ultimately it worked out. I mean, it was only by 1 point, but they can say it worked out because you look at the box score, who got the W. I'm actually pretty satisfied with it being France because, like I said, this is serious. Like, this is a team that whooped their ass earlier before, so now there's an actual tension. Rudy Gobert is a badass. You know, he's just not gonna take shit lightly. And these players that are playing for their countries that aren't from the USA, they take this shit with actual genuine pride and like passion, and I really like that. Like I've said this before, I'm hoping and waiting that in my lifetime at some point international basketball competition can come close to World Cup competition and hype and excitement. You know what I mean? Like I'm, pray, fingers crossed, anything that it gets to even 50% of that someday. Like, just imagine being able to tune in, whether it's the Olympics or the FIBA World Cup, and there's as much excitement because you just never know who's gonna take it for men's basketball as there is for international football or soccer. But yeah, so heading into it, let's look at these team comparisons. You guys see this cute little chart. This is actually on the official FIBA basketball website. Shooting percentage wise, France is averaging 48%, and the USA is averaging 51%. Now, 2-point field goal percentage, USA is averaging 59.3%, France is averaging 53.6%. USA is averaging 41% from the three, France is averaging 38.7%, and from the free throws, USA is averaging 81% and France is averaging 78.8%. So off the bat, you can already tell it's pretty close. The biggest margin is that 2-point field goal, but yeah, that is usually where the USA is going to dominate because they just got so many nasty players, man, that they can just break through. Like, if you've seen some of the KD highlights from this Olympic basketball tournament, it's not nice, man. It almost looks like he's just breezing through some of these squads sometimes. You know what I mean? And then here's something I want to point out. These two countries have actually faced 7 times so far. This final is going to be the 8th time in history when it's come to international basketball. Or at least like Olympic Games. In 2020, they faced off and France took that W, and that actually was France's first win against the USA in Olympic basketball. And then ever since then, USA has taken the last 6 games dating all the way back to 1948. Yes, 1948. And last time they got that W was August 2016 until July 2021 when France again whooped their ass. And I'll say whooped their ass because one, yeah, it was a pretty decent margin, and two, it shouldn't have got to that. And it started all this hysteria of like, oh, is USA basketball gonna even win the gold? Are they even gonna make it to the finals, etc., etc.? Well, we're here. They got their shit together. There's actually a great Bam Adebayo quote I saw on Twitter. I'll post it here about like they just got to stop eating shit in the first quarter. I'm paraphrasing, but it was something like that. And yeah, I agree, bro. Like, you guys have to stop taking lightly. Kind of like what I said earlier about hoping that one day the competition gets so close that the hype is there where it can feel like a World Cup in terms of you just don't know who could take it and all that, and the level of play is there. We're in that right direction. So it's been time since the USA basketball team stopped eating shit against these other squads, whoever it is, and more now than ever. It's amazing how many star international players we've had. Like, yes, there's been a lot of international players come into the NBA and do their thing, but now more than ever, we're getting legitimate stars. Giannis Antetokounmpo, fucking Finals MVP, NBA championship, arguably the best player in the world at this very second, and then Luka Doncic, the up and rising star, and then a bunch of other people like who was in the MVP race for this season: Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, all non-Americans. And even now, there's talks of like, okay, who can be the next face of the league? And 2 of the front runners, besides a couple other guys, are 2 international stars, and that's Giannis and Luka. So it'd be very interesting and crazy, and it would show so much about the evolution and development of the league, and not just the league but the game of basketball, if the NBA's franchise face became a non-American star. You know what I mean? It'd be the first time ever. It's gone from, you can say, Bill, or more so back then it was more so teams like the Celtics and the Lakers, but then you got like and then you Wilt, but it really started in the 80s with Bird and Magic, and then you had Jordan, and then you throwing Kobe, and then the LeBron era, and it's like, okay, who's next? And all those players I just named, all American, which is crazy because low key basketball wasn't created by an American. It was created in America. I'll give it that. I'll give him that. But it wasn't created by an American. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to this game. I fucking hope I can catch it. I really hope I can catch it. I don't want to say I think, but I hope that this game doesn't get doesn't become a wash, and like either team, especially USA team, doesn't just run away with it. I hope it stays a close game. I hope we're seeing some legitimate tension on the floor, and everybody's spilling their guts out there, leaving it all on the floor. And yeah, fingers crossed it becomes a tight, good, close game, kind of how the finals became between the Suns and the Bucks. And that's all I could really ask for. And there's also going to be that game. Don't worry, if you guys are fans of Luka, there's always a bronze medal game in the Olympics. So we'll get to see Luka pop off one more time. And I do believe he's going to end up taking it. I would be surprised if he don't. I'd be shocked, actually, if he doesn't. Because, one, I'm sure he wants it, because obviously he wanted that gold. And his story, what he's been doing with that team is crazy. If you guys read up on it, they were undefeated for a while, or I think they were undefeated since they added Luka to that team, and up until that France lost, which is, and he's only 22. So Olympics every 4 years, and then even if with the FIBA World Cups, in every 2 years in between. So 2 years from now we'll have a FIBA World Cup. Yeah, man, that man could do some crazy historic achievements and records for the Olympics, the World Cup, and his country. So that's gonna be pretty exciting to see. But it's about France and USA, so let's just wrap it up. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Yeah, let me know any other topics you guys want me to touch on, any other teams, players. I know there's a lot of other free agency to talk about. I'm waiting on the Heat ones to cover once Irwin recovers from the sickness, and then that's when we'll do more. We'll focus on the Heat. I didn't want to cover the Heat one by myself. But anything else, just yeah, let me know. I'll take a rip at it. And yeah, that's about it. You guys already know the deal. If you guys have made it this far into the video, please drop a like, a sub, a comment. Let me know your thoughts on, let's see, what can we talk about. I'm actually interested to see, one, have you been keeping up with the Olympic basketball tournament? And if you have, or if you haven't, are you a basketball or an NBA fan? And two, if you haven't, is it because you wanted to but you couldn't, or you just weren't that interested at all to begin with? And another one is, what do you guys think of these finals? You know what I mean? Like, legitimate. What do you guys think of France versus USA? Personally, I do think it's pretty hype, and that's not because I'm American and because I got love for USA basketball, but it's just doesn't hit the same like soccer. You know what I mean? Like, when USA plays soccer, Brazil plays soccer, or even Peru plays soccer, even Japan, like, I get excited. USA basketball, there is it, but there's just not that same connection. Not yet, at least. Not yet. You know what I mean? I think over time, like I said, it builds up. Tears will flow when they take L's. Tears will flow when they take W's. You know what I mean? That's what I'm hoping we can get to one day. But that about wraps it up. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, all streaming podcast platforms. And until next time, take care.